four-clawed theropod here. Today, I'm going to talk about the Dinosaurian spine lizard. Oh, and this is going to be a long video. Spinosaurus was a megalosauroid theropod that lived in what is now Egypt and Morocco. It lived in the so-called mid-Cretaceous period from around 110 to 95 million years ago. Spinosaurus had one species, S. aegypticus. It was once thought that there was a species called S. maricanus, but most experts say it's just a juvenile form of S. aegypticus. Spinosaurus belongs to the clade Megalosauroidea. The group that Spinosaurus is a part of split off to become the group called Spinosauridae. Spinosaurids had elongated skulls and some kind of sail. For example, Suchomimus had a very small sail, but Spinosaurus had the largest sail of them all. The sails slowly evolved over time because the first Spinosaurids had very small sails, but the later ones had big sails. Spinosaurus was discovered in 1912 and was described in 1915 by the German paleontologist Ernst Stromer. The original remains only consisted of a part of the lower jaw, teeth, a rib, and some vertebrae. The spinal vertebrae were elongated, hence the name Spinosaurus, meaning spine lizard. Just like all dinosaur restorations at the time, Spinosaurus was restored with an upright stance, just like a kangaroo. Stromer restored Spinosaurus as an ordinary theropod, but just with a sail. Some people first thought that the elongated vertebrae were for muscle support as a hump, but Stromer later concluded that Spinosaurus had a thin sail. Later, in the 90s, paleontologists looked at Spinosaurus relatives. In the early 2000s, Spinosaurus got a longer skull and a more upright posture. In the 2010s, a skull was found. In 2014, a paper was published. Spinosaurus now had a quadrupedal stance with short back legs and a more squarish sail. Then, in the 2020s, another skeleton was found. This time, the Spinosaurus also had elongated tail vertebrae. This means that Spinosaurus had a paddle tail. We now also know Spinosaurus was still bipedal. Spinosaurus was probably the largest theropod that ever lived. It was around 15 to 17 meters long, 4.5 to 5 meters tall, and weighed 6 to 7 metric tons. Stromer measured the maximum length of Spinosaurus at 12 meters, despite the holotype measuring only about 10 meters. The holotype specimen was lost when the Allied forces destroyed the museum that was housing the bones in 1944. Spinosaurus had short hind legs in contrast to the body, and it had 3 digits on the hands. Spinosaurus had a very distinctive feature, its sail. Its sail was rectangular in shape, with the inhibition in the middle, and was, at some places, almost 2 meters tall. Spinosaurus had a unique skull. The skull had a rhomphus-shaped crest just above its eyes. The skull also had pressure sensors at the front, just like crocodiles and alligators. It could use this as a sixth sense. It could detect prey that swam in the water. The nostrils were also placed higher up than normal. Overall, the skull really looked like the skull of a crocodile. Spinosaurus is the most aquatic dinosaur known. Maybe Spinosaurus was a phase between fully terrestrial and fully aquatic dinosaurs. Just like all of its relatives, Spinosaurus was a piscivore. Its diet consists mostly of fish, but when it was dry, Spinosaurus also hunted small land prey. Spinosaurus ate fish like the coelacanth Mausonia and the 8-meter-long sawfish Oncopristus. Spinosaurus remains have been found with fish scales in its stomach, which further supports this idea. Spinosaurus probably hunted like a stork. It would put its snout in the water and wait for fish to swim by. It could also swim very well. Spinosaurus lived in a cross between a swamp and a floodplain that was filled with rivers and streams. It looked somewhat like a river delta. Spinosaurus lived alongside animals like Carcharodontosaurus, a large theropod, Sarcosuchus, a large crocodilian, and Ouranosaurus, a medium-sized ornithopod. Spinosaurus' sail could have had 3 functions. It could have been used for display, as a dorsal fin, or for thermal regulation. Experts still don't know for sure. The thermal regulation theory does have good support. Even though North Africa was warm, the night would be quite cold. Animals would need to warm up, but Spinosaurus would warm up faster, so it could do more activities throughout the day. Spinosaurus went extinct around 95 million years ago. It seemed that the environment that Spinosaurus lived in became too dry, and because Spinosaurus was very aquatic, it couldn't survive for long. Then there is that one question: did Spinosaurus have feathers? And the answer is no, probably not. Spinosaurus could have had feathers, but it's highly implausible. Its ancestors probably already lost it. Spinosaurus has been in lots of media: Jurassic Park, The Land Before Time, Monsters Resurrected, Planet Dinosaur, and Primeval. All the Spinosauruses have the basic inaccuracies, like having a round sail, long hind legs, and pronated hands. But now, the question that a lot of people ask: who would win, Spinosaurus or Tyrannosaurus Rex? Well, let's analyze. If the fight was on land, Tyrannosaurus would win. Tyrannosaurus weighed more, had a stronger bite force, and was way more mobile on land. But if the fight was in the water, Spinosaurus would most definitely win. Well, that was it for today. Comment which dinosaur I should talk about next. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye!